Hello. I thought it'd be fun to do another video. I keep getting a lot of questions on my videos, so I thought maybe, hey, let me address some of the questions directly. Um, so I wanted to start off with I asked ChatGPT what are five of the biggest questions for chapter 13. The first one was, what was the turning point that led you to file for chapter 13 specifically rather than chapter 7 or another option? So I went back and forth on this. I really didn't know what was what. I didn't know the difference. I did a lot of research. But mainly, once you meet with your lawyer, he's going to tell you what you qualify for because you can go in there for a chapter 7, but you make too much money and they won't allow it. So no matter what, like you could have your goal set on chapter 7, but because the amount of money you make, you don't qualify for it. So my biggest thing was I wanted to keep the house. I was just about done with my car. I had like 6 or 7 months or something. So I didn't want to liquidate that. It was just like my credit cards and student loans and like just the minimal bills I just couldn't do. I never missed a house payment, never missed a car payment. So it wasn't that. It was just that with the interest of the cards, I could never dig into the actual debt of the cards. So here on the screen, you'll see the differences between the two. Chapter 7, the timeline is 3 to 6 months, and that's just a complete wipeout. Do you get to keep your property? You're going to lose most of your stuff. Do you have to repay the debt? No, most of it's wiped out. And like what I was saying before, the income requirement is low income. So that's something that they're going to look at. And then also the credit impact. That was one of the biggest things is like, I was just about to be 40 and I'm like, man, I don't want to be wiped out from 40 to 50. So my goal was, all right, I got to just keep repaying this stuff and I'll be fine. But I did it like for 5 straight years and I didn't get anywhere. And with the chapter 7, I knew it would wipe me out for the 10 years and I was scared to lose my house. So once I looked into chapter 13, this was like a payment plan and I think I'm going to be done with mine within 3 years. I'm going on my third year, and I could already see that it's almost done. So it stays on my credit report for 7. So I'm going into my third year, so it's not bad. And then my credit score is in the mid 700. So, I think that with me saving my money, I'm just going to buy like a used vehicle cash. So, I mean, hasn't really done anything there. All right, let's go to the next question. How did the repayment plan impact your day-to-day finances and lifestyle during those 3 to 5 years? Okay, so I would say right now, my day-to-day, um, one, I have money in my pocket. Um, I'm not stressing about overpaying one card versus the other. I have money in my savings. I have money, I got extra money going in my 401k. I don't have a car payment anymore. I'm planning, my next vacation. So it's actually changed it by taking all the stress off. Like now I know I have the extra money to buy stuff. I have the extra money to save. I do save a lot now. And before I couldn't save anything at all just because I didn't have the money to save. So my lifestyle has completely changed. I would say like versus 5 years ago, I was making quite a bit more money. So, I spent a lot more money. We would go out as a team and, buy a $50 steak or, get, pick up somebody's bar tab or whatever, but I don't do any of that anymore. So I guess that changed. So, the less money you make, the less money you spend. The more money you make, the more money you spend. So if you live by that, you kind of figure it out. So like, I know, okay, I go on date nights on Friday. So what I'll do is I plan for that. Okay, well, we're going to go out here. Okay, let me put, $100 away or whatever. But I don't do any really crazy spontaneous stuff like I used to because I knew that money was always coming in. Now it's more about building it and not getting myself into this situation that started this. What lessons did you learn about budgeting, debt, or credit that you wish you knew before filing. I guess the biggest thing was my first credit card was like a Meyer credit card, and it was like $300. And what I wish I would have knew was, one, how easy it was to get. Two, that $300, if you're paying minimum payment, you're end up paying like $1,000. So I remember I got my first card at like 18, and then me and my sister went to Meyer, and it was like $300. And I told her to get whatever she wanted, and I got whatever I wanted. And then I went to the Tiger game, the baseball game, and you get a free blanket if you sign up for a credit card. And there was like three of us, and I got all three of them blankets. I signed up for three, and all three of those cards hit my credit report. So there's a lot of things that I wasn't taught early that I know now. I still have a card now, and that's basically for rental cars, hotel stays, or emergencies. I still got a card. I still think everyone should have one, but I would think that you have to budget in there to make a payment every month and not minimum payment and pay that thing off. I mean, to me, it shouldn't be a running debt every month. It should be something that's paid off and then that's there for emergencies. But I would say if I could go back as a young person, I would say avoid them. Like the Meyer card, you don't need, like, that now every time when you cash out, they say, hey, do you want to sign up for one of our cards? Absolutely do not do that. I mean, if you don't have the money to buy your new shirt or whatever, don't don't do it. Just wait. I would save and then do it that way because once you get into that mentality, it's hard to get out of. How did filing for Chapter 13 affect your credit, and how long did it take before you could qualify for loans or credit again? Okay, so this one, if you go through my videos, you'll see the change. Okay, so once I filed, within like a month, it dropped almost 100 points. And then now we're almost in the third year, and I'm in mid 700s. Before the Chapter 13, I was around 615 to 5 like 90, and no matter what I did, because my debt to income ratio was so high, I could never get it past there. So I would say even if I never filed, right now I would probably be waking up and it would be at like 618 or something. It would be horrible. So by me doing this, um, I'm at 720 of this morning, and the other one's at 642. So, or 742, 725 and 742. So I would say um, that it affected it in a good way. Loans, I haven't applied for any loans yet. Credit, I do have a credit card. I was able to get one within, I think, 6 months, and I got like a $2,000 limit. I paid that for like a year, and then they moved it up to a $5,000 limit because I didn't miss a payment and I kept my balance low. So they moved that up to 5,000. But now I get stuff in the mail like every day, like I'm pre-qualified and stuff like that. But I'm not getting back into that lifestyle. But I would say 6 months and you can get your first card. And then I would say your credit starts going up within 6 months, and then it just doesn't go down. It just continues to go up. So it's nice. Looking back, would you make the same decision again, or would you handle it differently? I would say 10,000% I would do it again. My only regret was not doing it sooner. I feel like if I would have done it 5 years sooner, I'd have been in a different situation. My problem was um, I had all this debt. I was on the road. I even used the card for work expenses. So my job would refund the expenses. So I would send an expense report at the end of the month, and they'd send me a check for like my stay, my food, all that stuff. But my problem was I would get this check, and I would say, "Oh man, I'm gonna get these shoes, or I'm gonna go on this, weekend thing." And instead of putting that whole money on the card, I put partial of the money back on the card. and then just it's a cycle that just I never got out of. Also, I went, you know, I when I was on the road, I was making really good money, and then we tried to open a restaurant, and the restaurant was doing well, but then COVID happened. So then, I didn't get a good return on my initial investment. So I didn't know how to get out of that as well. So this was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back at the end, where, okay, what do I do? Like, because I was going to be treading water for the next 10 years, and I just never seen a way out of it. So this was the only decision, and it was definitely the right decision. So I don't regret it. I would do it again. I just wish I would have done it sooner. I think I'd be already in a way better position, but I'm okay. I thank the Lord that I did it when